Hello everyone, my name is José Luis Fernández. I'm a sommelier and wine consultant. I'm here to talk about food and wine today. So welcome to this episode. And today we've chosen to go do a fun food and wine or wine and charcuterie pairing. We got a lovely charcuterie and cheese board from our friends at the Platter company, which I'm sure everyone will enjoy. And we chose a couple wines to go with it to make it a nice pairing um, e- exercise. So today we're gonna start with the white wine. Today is from Chablis, from France, from Burgundy. It's 2019 Domaine Séguinon Bordeaux Vieille Vigne from France. So basically here for Chablis, it's a classic wine. They've been making wine for years in Chablis. And Chablis is the name of the place, it's the name of the village surrounding the area where they grow the grapes and they make the wine. Very traditional style. The grape here is Chardonnay, 100% Chardonnay. And their style of wine is dry. They usually make the wine dry, they ferment all the sugars in the wine. So the style of the wine is dry. It's from a cooler climate, and what it means, it brings wines they have higher acidity, and they're in a way more food friendly. But they're refreshing, delicious, thirst quenching. It's what you want to drink on the patio in the summer or in the spring. If you want something refreshing with vibrant acidity, delicious on its own, it's fantastic. But when you put it together with food, it makes it even better. And this is the type of wine that would definitely complement anything seafood, mostly in general. If every time I see seafood on the table or a dish, I immediately go to Chablis as one of my top choices. Today we're gonna pair it with the cheeses. Basically, here is the best pairing, especially the brie, the double cream brie. And there's something very interesting in Chablis. When they make Chablis, they go through a process. Not to go too technical here, but it's called Malolactic Fermentation, and it's the process when you have malic acid, which is found when you usually found in green apples, and turn that harsh sort of bitter acidity, and they transform that acidity in the grape into lactic acid, basically the acid that you found in milk or yogurt, so a little bit softer around there, easier to digest or consume. So because of that, when you smell Chablis, one of many aromas that you find, there's a lactic component, that's sort of a cheese wine, sort of buttery component that you find in Chardonnay, especially in this. It's what complements the double cream brie the best. So that's why I decided to choose this cheese to be paired with this wine. But overall, it could go with many other things as many charcuterie and cheese boards. And if we're gonna talk about the wine, let's go to the fun part. Let's smell it and try it. And on for Chablis, the best thing, or what's really interesting, is the fruit. The fruit tends to be more on the, if you smell it, tends to be on the underripe and fresh side of things. You smell lots of yellow apple, green apple, fruits, citrus fruits like lemon. But there's a very focused minerality in this wine. It's a very minerally driven wine. And what it means, it's from the place where it comes. In the soil, you find many things. It comes from limestone, from a limestone soil. That when you go to Chablis, if you ever go to Chablis, or if you've been there and you walk through the vineyards, you can see little oyster shell fossils on the ground. And what it means, Chablis used to be a seabed. Millions of years ago, it used to be an ocean. It used to be the seabed. So you can see the little fossils, and they're everywhere. So that's even on the bottle. If you look at the label, you see the little shell. So basically, that's what they're trying to show. And when you walk on the vineyards, you can see them everywhere. So that salinity, that sort of basically that, yeah, it used to be a seabed. Sometimes it stays in the ground, and it shows on the products that you make, especially wine. It's a way to showcase the terroir, or the characteristics of the place where it comes from, and this is one of the best examples, Chablis. And when you smell it, you get all these lovely notes, and then when you drink it, when it's dry, with that vibrant acidity coming through. It's sharp, steely, mineral driven, succulent, it's juicy, it's delicious. On its own, it's such a delicious wine. It goes well with friends in sunshine, but also goes fantastic with food. And that it's got a long finish, it's got a lovely texture on the mid palate, and it's a very complex wine. Every time you go back and you smell it and drink it, there's always new things that you find. But at the same time, it's a very classic example. It's one of the most well-known wines in the world out there, and it's there for a reason. They've been making wine for millions of years, and they know what they're doing. It's something that comes with generation after generation, and it shows in the glass. And even if you the pairing with the double cream brie is my favorite for this wine, but please feel free to try it with pretty much everything and see what you like better. Sometimes at the best of the day, and some people, when they ask me like what's the best wine out there, I'm like, well, if you put it this way, the best wine is the one that you like. We all have different palates, we all like different things. Or sometimes what you like is not my favorite, and vice versa. So sometimes when people ask me what's the best wine out there, the best wine out there is the one that you like. So please, if you feel adventurous, give it a try. But my main pairing here for this wine is the brie. So cheers everyone, and I'll get back to talk about red wine. Hello everyone, welcome back. Now we're gonna taste the red wine. And for the red wine, I've chosen something very unique and one of my favorite wines. This is an Edna Rosso from Sicily in the south of Italy. The producer here is Torre Mora, and the name of the wine is Cauru. It's Edna Rosso, coming from the Edna area. 2019 vintage, and it comes from the area basically around the Etna volcano, or the Mount Etna, which is an active volcano. If you remember, this volcano erupted earlier this year, around February, March. Nothing serious happened, but it's one of those things that you can't control, and they make such a beautiful wine, so something very unique that they don't mind taking the risk, and as I say, living on the edge, and planting vines on the hillsides of a volcano. It's not something that you see every day everywhere in the world, but they do it there, so it's very, very interesting. And the wine is very special, it's very unique. There's something that because of the location on the island, on the hillsides of the volcano, you can see the ocean. So that sort of sea spray blowing through the vines, combined with the volcanic soils and that salty, smoky component to it that makes it very unique. And all these things, all these terroir characteristics, they show in the wine. When you read about it, you see it in photos, in videos. If you have a chance to travel, you see everything going on. But then once you try it, you can see how everything shows itself in the wine. And that's one of the cool things about wine. So for the wine, it's a wine that is made with two grape varieties that are native to Italy, and you will only see them in this place. I've never seen these grapes anywhere else. They're called Nerello Mascalese and Nerello Cappuccio, and they make the blend for this lovely wine, which if you look at the glass, it's very interesting. If you have a white piece of paper or a white card, and you can see in the background, you can read through it, which means the grapes have thin skin. So when they make the wine and they macerate the wine and they ferment it, they only add a little bit of color. So it's basically, you can read through it. If you have a nice piece of paper or something through it, then you can see it's clear. It's a clear wine. The wine, I chose this glass because I love the style of the wine. This glass basically it works like a funnel. It lets it aerate and bring out all the aromas, and then brings it over and kind of like a funnel. Like it kind of jumps out of the glass, and it's a great glass. If you have this type of glass, I would definitely recommend to use it, but any other glass will be fine. So the wine itself, we're gonna smell and taste the wine. First thing I smell, and I always talk about fruit in the beginning, this is very ripe, fresh red fruits, and I'm talking about red cherries, red currants, raspberries, even strawberries. It's fantastic. It's very floral. There's a lot of rose petals, red flowers. See, there's a connection between all the red notes in the wine, and then there's an earthy component, sort of like a mushroom component, but it's also savory. It's that salty, sort of smoky component, and that's what defines the wine here. Other than that, a little bit of herbal, some sort of savory herb, sort of a sage component to it, makes it a very, very savory wine. And now let's go to the palate. Let's try the wine. The wine is dry, medium to full body. The acidity still fresh, keeping the wine balanced with all the ripe fruit, all the ripe notes from the fruit, and also that earthy, smoky, saline component. So the wine it's delicious, it's savory, it's fantastic, and it goes well with anything that's savory. On this platter, basically the Sicilian salami, the fennel salami, walnuts. When you have nuts in red wine, there's a lot of very similar notes that you can put together, and also cheeses like cheddar, firm cheeses in red wine, they go better that way. So, but again, if you want to try something new, be adventurous, give it a try. Try the salty olives, put it together with this. It's a great wine. It's a great pairing, and yeah, it's a very aromatic wine, delicious on its own is great, but once you put it with food, it's another level. And then yeah, long finish, different notes, different layers of complexity. It's a very complex wine, meaning every time you go back and try it, you find something different. You get the fruits, you get the savory, you get the herbs, you get everything, and when you put it together, it works beautifully. So if you get a chance, as I did, open the bottle, decant it, and let it breathe and open up. It's always better for both red and white. So that's something that I would recommend. But if not, don't worry about it. You know, we're always, if you're thirsty, open the bottle, go for it, enjoy. And I hope you enjoyed this lovely platter from our friends at the Platter company. And I hope you enjoyed this lovely food and wine pairing. Cheers, everyone.